Within moments of Trump's inauguration as president last month, on the White House Gov website, all records of climate change data were deleted, except for one, Trump's vow to ensure that he eliminates the policies that President Obama instituted in his term that involved climate change. This action had gone unnoticed for quite some time, but in the last week had been picked up by climate change experts who were wondering why this data was removed. This, along with other concerns, has caused many people to be worried about what will be the future of climate change under a Trump administration. For example, according to an article published by the New York Times on February 1st, 2017, according to a New York Times survey, 41% of Americans believe that climate change will not become worse under a Trump administration, while almost 50% believe that it will become worse, while 9% choose to abstain. What this means is that many people are concerned about the future of climate change, and many people are beginning to ask the same question. Will a Trump presidency be a setback in the effort to stop climate change? And unfortunately, the answer is a clear and resounding yes, for the following three reasons. Firstly, through the imminent deletion of climate change data from government websites. Secondly, through the appointment of Donald Trump's appointment of government officials. And thirdly, through tax breaks on oil and coal companies. Moving on to my first area of analysis, where we discuss how there will be imminent deletions of climate change data on government websites. For example, according to an article published by the New York Times on February 2nd, 2017, there have been almost 50 scientists who are working to transfer government data from government websites such as NASA, the EPA Environmental Protection Agency website, and various other websites to private organizations such as universities. These scientists, according to the article, are worried that more and more data will be removed, such as data on sea level rises, the acidification of the ocean, and perhaps most alarming, the increasing level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. With this data getting possibly deleted and going from a strong source such as the government organizations to less powerful sources such as private organizations, we can see that this data may have a less of an impact on the American people, as less and less people are swayed by data that has been confirmed by scientists to be true. Moving on to my second area of analysis, where we discuss the Donald Trump's appointments as Donald Trump's government official appointments. According to an article published by Reuters on January 22nd, 2017, the appointment of his Secretary of State and Energy and Interior all claim that human activities and climate change have little relation with one another. They claim that while climate change may be a problem, human activities have nothing to do with it. This means that they will do little to stop oil companies and coal companies from increasing the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. From this, we can see that Donald Trump, as well as his appointments, all have priorities that concern economics and oil companies rather than climate change and stopping it. In the short term, this may mean policy that will increase the power of oil companies, as I will explain later, but perhaps more importantly, and perhaps at an international scale, in a long term, we can see that with this policy, more and more oil companies will gain power and continue to put carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, thereby decrease the amount of power that we can do to stop climate change. This will only exacerbate the problem, and it will only continue to get worse, as since Donald Trump has the power to elect a new Supreme Court official and has a Republican Congress with him, he can enact as much policy as he desires to stop people from stopping climate change. Furthermore, since he is appointing a Supreme Court official, this will not only impact the world during Donald Trump's presidency, but perhaps for decades, as a Supreme Court official stays until they retire or until they pass away. Moving on to my third area of analysis, where we discuss how Donald Trump plans to put on tax breaks on oil and coal companies. For example, according to an article published by CNN on February 3rd, 2017, Donald Trump has recently stated that he plans to put tax breaks of almost 20% on oil and drug companies. He claims that these companies provide a lot of profit for the American people and ensure that energy and resources keep coming in. He states that if these tax breaks occur, jobs will be increased, and we'll have a steady supply of cheap oil. And even if there is a steady supply of cheap oil, or even if jobs are increased, this does not account for the effect this will have on the environment. We can see that in the short term, while jobs may be increased, and while oil prices and coal prices may drop, in the long term, with the continued use of oil and coal, more carbon dioxide will be used in the atmosphere as these resources are burned. And we can see from this, as scientists say, the effects of climate change will only continue to exacerbate as more and more carbon dioxide goes into the atmosphere without any change. And if this continues to happen, it will take until the next presidency until we can see change and whether a president and the government will do something to stop climate change. Otherwise, it can be seen that, at least during this presidency, oil companies will continue to gain power, and although in terms of economics, the problems may be solved, in terms of the environment, things will only unfortunately be able to get worse. In conclusion, we can see that if we go back to the essential question, will Donald Trump's presidency cause a setback in climate change efforts? Unfortunately, the answer is a clear and resounding yes, for the following 3 reasons. Firstly, that his government appointments as government official appointments had clear views against stopping climate change. Secondly, because of tax breaks on oil and coal companies, which will therefore increase their power in putting more carbon dioxide into the environment, which will therefore only damage it and increase the rise of temperature in our world. And thirdly, we can see this through the deletion of government data and perhaps the transfer from a powerful government organization to a less powerful and maybe even less trustworthy private organization. And while all of this looks bleak, we should keep in mind that Donald Trump will have only a 4 to 8 year term, and which means that while only after moments of his inauguration, data from climate change data was deleted from the White House website, perhaps after 4 to 8 years, the new president will come and put climate change back as a front and center, an important issue in America, an issue that impacts all people, not just the poor, not just the rich, not just Americans, but everyone in the world. And unfortunately, Donald Trump will not be helping that. Thank you.